Hi everybody, Nancy here. Today I'm going to try to show you guys how I created this image right here. Now, you would be amazed at all that I learned while trying to do this one particular thing. It took me a month. I'm not kidding. I started a month ago trying to do this video, and I kept running into things that caused me to search further into what's causing that and what is this doing and how does this work. And so I was trying to learn as I went and work through some kinks that I ran into. But what I started with was, as soon as we got the new bucket fill option, if I go to the bucket, and we can use the translucent images now. If I choose image and I go to my favorite saved, see all these different images that I now can use. I started collecting those things because I was so excited about this new feature. It was like, oh my heavens, I went nuts trying to collect, and this is just one of several groups that I created just for filling in, using the bucket tool to fill in different areas of the thing. Well, I used this one time, and I got this from digitalwarehouse.com. I'll put a link to it. It's just it's translucent, so you can see behind it. And with that feature, you can change it to any color you want to. So if I go to this, I'm going to draw just a circle here. And I go to the bucket fill, and I can change that to any color that I want. If I do like a brown instead of that, whatever that was, see, I can use any color. That's the magic of this. And tap on that. I looked at it and it was like, God, that looks like stained glass. And I have in the past done stained glass. As a matter of fact, I have a picture. I got my brother to send me a picture to show you guys, and I will in a minute. But just because there's very few things in my life I have done that I'm proud of, and I'm proud of that door because I didn't know what I was doing when I started. That's okay. This has nothing to do with anything, but that's how I learn. Is I get something in my head. This is what I want to do, and now how do I do it? So that's how I do all of ZoomNotes. It either starts with, I want to be able to do this. Now, what do I need to do to make that happen? Or, here's a button. What does that do, and how can I use it? That's how I learned ZoomNotes. But, so anyway, as soon as I used this particular fill and put it into an image, it looked like stained glass to me. So I decided, I'll just make stained glass looking stuff. And I created this right here. That looks like stained glass to me. As a matter of fact, I went out and I found some Procreate brushes that were specifically stained glass, because there's tons and tons of different textures of glass. But I'm just going to use a watercolor here, so you don't have to do that. It's just that I wanted to. And I've got those further down in the list, but we're just going to go with this because it's free and you can get it yourself. That's the main reason, and because it looks like stained glass to me. So, in order to show you guys how I did it, how I started, today I wanted to go back and find this image, the flowers, the black and white. And I knew that I had saved it in my photos, but look how many times I've tried to do this video already. But something I learned today that I didn't know until today, because I tried it. It was like, I've got thousands of pictures, photos, and I'm not exaggerating. And it was like, how in the world am I ever going to find that? Because first of all, I'm not sure where it came from, and I didn't know how to find it. So I said, let me see if I just type in coloring, because I got it from a coloring book. Color, yeah. So I decided I would type in coloring just to see. And look, as soon as I finished typing color plus the I, it popped up at the very front. So now I just select it and add it to my thing, and here it is. I think what that is I have a hard copy, an actual book that I can color, and I think I just took a screenshot, or I took a picture of it and pulled it into ZoomNotes so that I had this in my photos, okay? I think I did that. Well, as you can tell, it's got white all over it, and this is a 101 class. When I show you this, I'm doing this so that new users know that it's available and how to do it. So I've just selected it, and I want to take it into transparency. So I go down to the images and see transparency, select that. Now, I could sit here and go around and fill in all these different spots, and it really wouldn't take long, but that's a pain. So instead of doing that, I'm going to undo that. What you can do, anything that's connecting, if you tap on it, see, all that, just one tap selected that whole image except for those three dots, and I'm not going to worry about those three dots, it doesn't matter. But anything that's red is going to be transparent. Well, that's not what I want. I want it to be just the opposite. So I do invert, and now I've got the black outline and everything else is red. So when I do a save, now I've got my transparent, oops, my bucket's still on. Delete that. Now I've got my transparent image. And this is what I started with. Now, I wanted it to look like I had done a rubber stamp image and just stamped it into my book. So I took this image. I went out on the internet and found a wooden block that looks like a rubber stamp block. It's not. That stupid piece of wood right there was $35. I got it. I got the image from Etsy, and it looked close enough to a wooden block for stamping that I decided to just use it, and I just downloaded that. But so then I just placed it on top of the wooden block, and I went to images and did the distort image so that I could kind of angle it so that it looked like it was angled laying down. See, because of the angle of the block, I had to change it. It couldn't be a real circle. So I did that. Okay. Neither here nor there, but that is a step that I took. Then I'm going to delete that. Well, select it and delete it. Okay. So now I've got, well, heck, I needed that. Undo. So I've got this image now, and it's a little bit wonky because I changed the perspective of it. But I'm going to go ahead and fill in the background of it. Delete that. I'm making it smaller. I don't want to have to fight that shadow in the middle of the book. That's why I'm taking my time with it. And I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to go back to the bucket tool, and I'm going to change it to a lighter brown. That's a little too dark. Use a lighter brown. I can't tell if it's using that image or not. this one right here, and change it to the brown. Now, important, before you start tapping, you want to go back to the style and make sure that you don't use create a fill shape. Turn that off, because if I tap with that selected, it makes that image that I'm tapping, I'm creating an image basically, but it's a shape. See, now it's just an image. All right, but if I made it into a shape, it literally triples in size. So you want to be aware of that. Do not make shapes unless you really want them. Now I will do something that I do want the shape, but not yet. So all of this that I'm tapping now is just images. I think no, one more. Okay, so all that background. Nope. Just filling in all the little background spaces. That looks like stained glass to me. However, and then of course I went and I changed the color to pink, and I did the flowers, and I did, different parts of the thing, but I'm not going to bother with that right now. All I'm going to do is, at this point, the next step was, after I did all the color, I then decided I do want to create a shape. So I turned that on, and instead of doing an image, I'm going to do a color. And I'm going to use some funky color just so I can see that it's happened. If I did black on black, you wouldn't be able to see it. But I've done this rust color, and I'm just going to tap on the black and try to fill as much as I can. Well, I tapped on it. Okay, there it is. And see how it got every bit of the black. Perfect. So now that is a shape. And if I select it and go to the shape properties, under properties, click on shape properties, and I want to turn off fill, because I don't want that fill, and I want to turn on draw shadow. Bam! That draw shadow right there makes all the difference in the world. That's the thing that made this picture go from the top version to the bottom version, just by adding that one last step of creating a shape. And then, see, that is just so pretty to me. I like it just the white and tan. But, so that's how I did that, all right? And then I think, well, okay, so what would anybody care about that, and what would they do with that? So I went to the next page, and I just used an alphabet, a font that I've got. Let's see, if I go to the A, I used, turn that off. I used this Beardson's Normal, and I'm pretty sure I got that from defont.com. And I only used that simply because it looked like stained glass to me. It looked like old-timey font. Any font will do. You can do this with any font. So then I went to the customize, and I turned on outline. So now I've got a letter that can be filled. Let's see, let me select all and make it bigger. Oh, heck. Select all and change the font size to be bigger. And then I just drew a circle around it. But I filled in, took the bucket tool, go back to bucket tool, and I chose image, and I'm going to turn off create fill shape, and then tap on my G and fill it. And then I just did a circle around that, and then I drew some black lines to look like leading in stained glass, and I did exactly what I showed you all how to do there. So you can do your own initial, or you can do the days of the week or the months of the year, you know, ways to use it. Now, if you know anything about stained glass, you know that the leading lines, which I just drew black lines just willy-nilly from the letter to the edge of the frame, I guess. I just drew black lines. Well, anybody that knows anything about stained glass knows that there's no way in the world you would ever cut pieces of glass in the shapes that this would cause. You can't do this kind of cut right here. I would have to draw a line there. I would have to, you know, you can't have this inside curve like that. You just can't. But, you know, for this purpose, who cares? So I didn't bother real bad to make that work. It's just an example of how you could use it, and you can go to as much trouble as you want to. Again, now, when I did the circle around here, I filled the circle in first, and then I put the black lines on another layer on top of it. So I didn't have to go and tap in each one of the little spots. I just filled it once, and the lines on top, it looks like I have, you know, filled in each little spot. But let me show you, just because I'm so proud of my stained glass. This has nothing to do with anything except that it's about, this door is about 45 years old. I decided one day I wanted to learn how to do stained glass. And at the time I was living in a trailer, so it wasn't like I had a door that I could use it for. So my brother said, well, make me one. So I did, and I'm trying to figure out what I need to do. So I'm going to delete that. I've got one of those hidden, and this is his front door. He lives in Louisiana, so ducks and cattails make so much more sense there than they would probably anywhere else in the country. But I had no clue what I was doing. This was the first thing I ever created, and delete that. I'm trying to get rid of that G. Okay. And I had to drive. It was before, you know, it was 40-something years ago, and yes, I'm old. I had to drive to either Houston or Dallas to get it. It was 4 or 5 hours away just to buy the glass. So I had to make sure I bought enough glass that I didn't have to make that trip again. And when I got there, I said, okay, so how do you solder? You know, and how do you cut glass? These guys showed me, and, you know, just one swish, this is how you do it. And then I had to go home and try to make that happen. And now my brother has a house full of stained glass, and I still have none. But anyway, of course, you can see in the top right corner and bottom right corner is broken. You're supposed to put plexiglass between the outside and the glass, so if a rock flies up against it, it won't break the glass, it'll hit the plexiglass. Well, he put it on the wrong side. He put the plexiglass on the inside of the house, so now a rock hit it. You know, he was mowing his grass and he hit it. But anyway, there's not very many things in my life that I've done that I'm especially proud of. But this door right here, this piece is probably 2/3 of a front door. So it's 5 or 6 feet by 3, maybe something like that. Huge. It's huge. And like I said, I was living in a trailer at the time, so I did every bit of this on the floor in my living room. in my trailer. All right. Anyway, that has nothing to do with anything. I just had to show off. All right. Now, there are tons of other things that I did learn. However, it's going to take more time to tell you about it. But the most important thing right now is you want to be sure and not use the shape option when you're filling in these things unless you need it. It has a purpose. I was doing it for everything simply because I thought that I should. And, well, no, I didn't understand what I was going to take advantage of the shape if I needed to, because there's lots you can do with shapes. And I thought, well, I'll go ahead and have the shapes created, and that way if it'll already be done. Bad mistake. My document went from, I'm going to say 50K to 1.1 gigabytes just because of those shapes for that page. I had 2 pages in that document. I ended up having to just scratch it all, throw it away, start over, because I couldn't open ZoomNotes because of that one problem. Well, because of the size of the initial file and because of the fact that I was using shapes. In the next video, I will show you how to tell the sizes of things and how you can go about changing the size when you're in ZoomNotes. I've done several videos on how to control the size, but I want to show you some more stuff if in case I didn't say some things in that video. But that'll be the next video. I just wanted to show you how I created that one thing. That's where I was going with it, to show you how I did that. All right. Anyway, y'all have a great day here, and I'll do another video soon. Okay, bye.